Hey you guys, welcome back to Lisa and Company. Today we are doing beautiful fall decor, and these are all Michael's dupes. If you love budget-friendly DIY design and decor, then I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and coming along on this YouTube journey with me. Today I am going to be using mostly Dollar Tree supplies to do my Michael's dupes. The vase, however, I found on the side of the road. It doesn't get much better deal than that. My inspiration for this DIY is this really cute standing pumpkin stack. I'm going to be putting my own spin on it. I'm going to go ahead and use these signs from Dollar Tree, and I'm using 2 of them so that I can make it a little bit more sturdy. Now, funny story with this, check it out. Each one of these signs had the printed material on the front and the back. Like, these stickers aren't difficult enough to get off. I had to do it more than once. Can you even imagine? So I went ahead and glued them together and with just my hot glue gun, and I also filled the hole at the top that had a little hanging tie thing on it because I wanted to make mine into a standing sign. So I've already put 1 coat of my homemade white chalk paint on it, and I'm going to give it a quick sand before I put a second coat on so I can really build up this surface. I also made sure that I painted around the edges where I'd attach those 2 signs together. My inspiration for painting this today is this gorgeous tea towel I saw at HomeSense recently. So you're going to see that just on the side there on my phone because I'm referring to it constantly. My plan is to start with the darkest pumpkin on the bottom and work my way up to the lightest. I hope you guys will enjoy kind of just coming along with me as I layer up the paint and try to get that desired look I'm going for. I am by no means a painter, so even though there was a point I wanted to throw in the towel, I didn't want to let my Lisas down because I absolutely love doing this with them. Oh, speaking of Lisas, more on that in just a few minutes. After my initial pass working from darkest to lightest at the top of the stack, I ended up going back and using a tiny bit of an espresso paint, a very tiny amount of blue, and an extremely tiny amount of green as well, blended in with the grays and the black to give it a little bit more dimension. They were just looking too flat. Then I went in and with a pencil, I drew all my pumpkin stems, or what do we call them? That's right, peduncles, such a weird word, and I worked my way up to the top, trying to make each one of them look just a little bit different. I also took this opportunity to add just a little bit more shading. Seriously, there is so much paint on this. I had to make myself stop and say, okay, you're done, and it will do. I am totally curious how many of you would try something like this with a little hand painting. Would you try something different? Would you use a different medium, like a different kind of paint? Make sure you let me know down in the comments if you would tackle something like this. If you enjoy seeing me work on this, or you'd rather see me stick to different methods of crafting. I am so curious to know what you guys enjoy and what you'd rather not see. Now this is heading over to a friend of mine who loves black and white just about as much as I do. And although they probably weren't expecting these embellishments at the top, I really felt like it needed a little something. So we're just putting a couple of items from Dollar Tree on here, literally cut-offs from other projects, and that one beautiful flower. I am so impressed with the flowers and greenery they had this fall. Are you guys too? Are you curious how I'm going to make this stand up? Well, let me tell you, I thought long and hard about this. Then I found this pencil cup in my stash, and of course Dollar Tree always has a ton of rocks and pebbles, so I figured this would be a great way to do it. Now I'm taking one of the Dollar Tree planks and I'm just going to use that as a base. So it makes for a wider base, and then I'm just gonna flip this over and we're gonna have a perfect stand to attach our sign to. Now you may have noticed I only painted the one side of that plank so far because it works much better when you attach raw wood to raw wood. Then I gave it a coat of paint just to make sure it was all finished. Now we're going to attach our standing sign, and don't worry, I did go back and give the back of it a coat of paint. Because it's a standing sign, we couldn't have that messy Dollar Tree ripped off picture just hanging out in the back. Now, despite the fact that this project one made me want to scream and throw in the towel, I am absolutely thrilled with the way it came out. I love all the definition and all the texture that this painting has, and I'm really happy to hand this off to my friend. Now, how did we do? Well, I will take my $4 over the 40 any day. Now, earlier this year, Lisa Marie from Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie got us all together and we did a really fun mystery box challenge. This time we each picked a store, and the Lisas of YouTube are back at it again. Make sure you check out the playlist down below. You are going to find some great inspiration as well as some super high-end dupes. My Michaels inspiration this time is this really cute vintage truck. I love that it's done in a creamy color, but still has that hit of orange. And I was so lucky that Dollar Tree came out with these great metal signs. It's almost exactly the same as the Michaels one. So we are going to paint it out and start with a nice clean slate. And then we're going to use a Dollar Tree pumpkin and actually put a 3D pumpkin right on it. Now, if I was just to cut this in half, it would have been huge, and I feel like the scale would have been completely wrong. So if you can tell what I'm doing here, I'm taking about a third of the pumpkin. I figured that was just about right. Once I am finished painting the truck, we're going to attach this, put the initial on it, and it's going to look really cool. The best part is I have the rest of that pumpkin that I can use for another DIY. I hope you're ready for some more painting. I started by applying a warm creamy white over top of that gray, and I was just having a heck of a time getting good coverage. So what I ended up doing once this coat was dry was taking some more of that warm white paint, throwing a little bit of talc in it, and making myself a very small amount of creamy white chalk paint, and that worked so much better. I used just the regular acrylic paint to do all the other work around it, on the lights, on the side mirrors, the tails, the fender, and tires and fender and all the other pieces. And you can see once I used that chalk paint, it went on so much better. I used my good old homemade white chalk paint to paint the pumpkin, and then I just went back with a tiny bit of orange, blending it in as I went. I did not want an orange pumpkin on here. I just wanted the sense of a little bit of that great fall orange. Then I used one of the Dollar Tree poster stickers and went over with a little bit more white and a little bit more gray just to add lots of definition to this pumpkin and make it look like the inspiration. I used my finger to really smooth it out and get the look I was going for. Now I'm just going to add this cute little stem that I had left over from another pumpkin, hot glue it on, and we are going to call this one Finished. What do you think? I absolutely love it, and compared to the Michaels one, it's going to work for my friend's decor, and even better, I saved a ton of money, with my version only costing about $3. This candle lantern is something I'd kind of been stalking at Michael's, hoping it would go on sale, and of course it did not. So when I saw this vase literally on the side of the road, I thought I can totally do this. Now I'm using the Dollar Tree faux leather vinyl. I've cut it into strips and I'm gluing them back to back because, as you can see, the backside isn't very pretty, and with it being a clear vase, I didn't want you to see the back of that vinyl. So I just used a rotary cutter to cut it into strips, and I've used slightly different sizes for the different components. This narrower strip is for the top. I've got one that's about 1 inch for the bottom, as well as the handle. Now my handle's not going to move up and down like the real one. It's going to be stationary, but I think you'll agree once you see what a great deal this DIY is. Now here's the thing. When I got down to the end, I actually put the cost of this DIY if you were to use one of the Dollar Tree vases to do this. When I'm finished, after I've attached the handle here, I went ahead and took a couple of the thumbtacks, cut the back off, and stuck them on so it really looked like a stud or a nail head type thing was holding on that handle. Now just remember, once you put the hot glue on that thumbtack, it gets hot very quickly. So get it on there, and if you're smarter than me, make sure you use your finger protectors to hold it down while it adheres. So what do you guys think? I think for what this cost me, my little trash to treasure vase and a little bit of vinyl, this came out really great. Would you add this to your decor for $4 versus $45? Yeah, I thought so too. Now don't forget to go down and hit that playlist so you see all the videos all the other Lisas have made. Here's a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. And if you haven't already joined us over on Instagram and Facebook, then make sure you do that. Thanks for coming by today, you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.